So now a lot of women are getting married after the age of 30. It's become normal and they plan pregnancy after the age of 35. But the reality also they should know. I've seen a lot of patients, they'll tell me the standard dialogue saying that na settle I know. When they plan for pregnancy and they're not able to get pregnant, they're getting frustrated. There are conditions like ADHD which you cannot diagnose in your scan. They're not able to continue the pregnancy in a healthy way. So yes, egg odor quality does affect the embryo quality. Above 30, if you have not frozen your eggs in your 20s, earlier the better. 35 மேல freeze பண்றது is no use.
Dr. Sharanya, hi again. Last two episodes we've spoken so much about perimenopause, menopause, starting after 42, menopausal after 45. But I see a growing trend of young women who opt to get married after 30 and want to have children after 35. Yeah. So, how does this entire parenting and conception and pregnancy affect the women who are more career oriented or aspirational or want to be more ready to be a mother today?
Yes, rightly said. I think the career oriented aspiration part comes into this. So now a lot of women are getting married after the age of 30. It's become normal and they plan pregnancy after the age of 35. So, see, there is nothing against this. It is each person's circumstance, their wish, and all that, right? But they should also understand that as they're aging, they can eat well, they can work out well, they can maintain their skin, they can be absolutely perfectly healthy. Whatever it is, the egg count is going to fall down after 30, no matter what they do. So they have to know, they have to get a checkup done to see that am I healthy to produce babies. Second thing is my body healthy enough to wait till this particular age? Do I have any unhealthy condition like endometriosis, PCOS, anything that warrants for earlier pregnancy? So this they have to do a checkup. Adula or important blood test it is called AMH. அது வந்து ஐ அர்ஜ் எவ்ரிபடி டு டூ த டெஸ்ட் பிகாஸ் நீங்கள் எப்படி ஹீமோக்ளோபின் தைராய்டு பார்க்குறீங்களோ ஏஎம்ஹெச்சும் பண்ணிடணும். அது எப்போ வேணால் பண்ணலாம், ஃபாஸ்டிங்கில் அது மாதிரி எதுவுமே கிடையாது, எனி டைம் ஆஃப் த மென்ஸ்ட்ரல் சைக்கிள். ஸோ அது வந்து வில் டெல் யூ ஹவு யோர் ஒவேரியன் ரிசர்வ் இஸ், how is the tank of eggs are, and depending on that value we will be able to tell how is the chances of pregnancy. So romba lowa irukku, if it is less than 1, then we tell them that see the chances of getting pregnant is going to be very less. And also we do an ultrasound to do something called AFC, it's called antral follicle count. Idhula vandu rendu ovary irukana, adula there are some follicles. Everybody will have follicles, these are some fluid filled cyst, and the follicle ulla da you'll have egg. But will I be able to see the egg in the scan? No. I can see only the follicle. Suppose if there is the AMH count is say good around say 2.5 to 3 and the antral follicle count is around 6 to 8, then I'll say it's good count. So you can wait for a couple of years and then plan. But if it is less than 1 AMH and the antral follicle count is only 1 or 2, that means she might be having only 1 or 2 eggs. So what is the point in waiting when you know that this is only going to fall further? Of course, there are treatments to increase AMH. There are treatments to do that, but those are all procedures. அது வந்து unnecessarily we don't have to go to that if we know that this is going to affect our ovary or our egg count. Plan pregnancy accordingly. ஸோ அதுதான் ஐ டெல் மை பேஷண்ட்ஸ். ஏன்னா தப்பே கிடையாது, நான் ஜட்ஜ் பண்ணலை. எல்லாருமே வந்து லேட்டாக கல்யாணம் பண்ணிக்கணும், செட்டில் ஆகிட்டு கல்யாணம் பண்ணிக்கணும். ஸோ ஐ ஆல்சோ டெல் தம் மென்டலி யூ ஷுட் பி ப்ரிப்பேர்டு, எஸ்பெஷலி இஃப் யூ டோன்ட் நோ யுவர் ஸ்பவுஸ், கெட் மேரிட், கெட் டு நோ யுவர் ஹஸ்பண்ட் பெட்டர், செக்ஷுவலி பி ஹாப்பி, தென் யூ பிளான் ப்ரெக்னென்சி. நானும் அதை தான் சொல்லுவேன். பட் த ரியாலிட்டி ஆல்சோ தே ஷுட் நோ தட் நமக்கு வந்து அக்கௌண்ட் எப்படி இருக்குது, நல்லா இருக்கா பார்த்துட்டு தென் வி கேன் டிசைட் ஆன் வென் டு பிளான் ஃபார் ப்ரெக்னென்சி. ஏன்னா வந்து ஐவ் சீன் லாட் ஆஃப் பேஷண்ட்ஸ் தேல் டெல் மீ தி ஸ்டாண்டர்ட் டைலாக் சேயிங் தட் நான் செட்டில் ஆகிடணும், இப்போ தான் என் கரியர் பிக்கப் ஆகிருக்கு அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. அண்ட் தென் த சேம் பர்சன் 5-6 years later when they come back and they say yes doctor, now I'm getting ready for pregnancy, and when they plan for pregnancy and they're not able to get pregnant, they're getting frustrated. நான் அப்போவே பண்ணியிருக்கலாமோ அப்படின்ற ஒரு ஃப்ரஸ்ட்ரேஷன் வரும். ஸோ யூ ஷுட் பி வெரி கிளியர் இன் தட்.
Is this also applicable to people who are trying for the second child, or is just only for the first pregnancy that
Yes,
these
it is
kind of
applicable.
hormone?
இல்ல, it is applicable to second child. So first child வந்து நீங்க 20s if you're getting pregnant, good egg count, அழகா they'll get pregnant naturally. இப்போ second pregnancy say they plan in their 30s or 10 years later pregnant ஆகணும்னு plan பண்ணாங்கன்னா அப்போ your egg count is going to fall. ஸோ அப்போ யூ cannot say நான் ஃபஸ்ட்டு நேச்சுரலாக ப்ரெக்னென்ட் ஆனேன் ஏன் எனக்கு செகண்ட் டிஃபிகல்ட்டாக இருக்குன்னு சொல்ல முடியாது பிகாஸ் யோர் egg count is falling. Your age does decrease the egg count. More the age, lesser the egg count.
Doctor, now I read one some article or some I must have heard it, which said that women who tend to have children a little older at an older age, not elderly age, have children who are more prone to ADHD. So is it true that I mean, is that true, or does the egg quality actually deteriorate? Whether it will have the impact of having a healthy child at an older age is actually challenging?
Yes. So ADHD in particular illa Rashmi. Okay, that is a developmental disorder. But yes, age plays a role in the quality of the egg. So quality of the egg poor இருந்தா of course quality of the embryo poor இருக்கும். So there are conditions like ADHD which you cannot diagnose in your scan. Anomalies தெரியும். And so many patients who come to us for getting pregnant at a later age, they will get good number of eggs, but the quality of the eggs will be very poor. So embryo poor இருக்கும். So அந்த embryo transfer பண்ண பிறகு either it will end up as a miscarriage or கொஞ்ச நாள் after the pregnancy grows, at the time of 5th or 6th month, அப்போவும் they end up in a, they're not able to continue the pregnancy in a healthy way. So yes, egg quality does affect the embryo quality. If the embryo quality is poor, then they can have some neurological issues later also.
And how do you help, doctor, the women who want to conceive later in life? How do you help them?
So people who are wanting to conceive later in life and they're very clear எனக்கு வந்து 35 plusல or 40ல தான் I'm going to plan pregnancy and they come to me at an earlier age, I would love to give them the option of egg freezing. So egg freezing பார்த்தீங்கன்னா பல வருஷமாக நடந்துட்டுருக்கு. பட் இப்போ வந்து கப்புள் ஆஃப் செலிப்ரிட்டிஸ் வந்து அதை பண்ணியிருக்கேன்னு தே ஹேட் அட்வொகேட்டட் இட் ஆர் தே ஹவ் அனௌன்ஸ்ட் இட் ஆன் சோஷியல் மீடியா. அதில் த அவேர்னஸ் இஸ் மோர். ஸோ நிறைய பேர் ஆர் கம்மிங் ஃபார்வர்ட் ஃபார் எக் ஃப்ரீசிங். ஸோ எக் ஃப்ரீசிங் இஸ் சம்திங் இட்ஸ் லைக் ஒரு இன்சூரன்ஸ் தானே, where it's beautiful, where you get to freeze your eggs at an earlier age, and when you're planning pregnancy, the eggs that you take for this pregnancy would be your younger age eggs. So kandipa the quality of the egg will be good, quality of the embryo will be good. So it makes a marked difference in the outcome of success of the pregnancy.
So over here, is there any limit? Like if you say women under 25, you don't advocate. Only women above 25, you say, okay, you can go for this procedure.
So ideal age group to freeze eggs would be in the 20s. In a younger the age, more lovely the quality of the eggs will be. Above 30, if you have not frozen your eggs in your 20s, earlier the better. 35 மேலே freeze பண்ணுறது is no use.
And women who are in their 20s, if they are having say smoking, drinking, unhealthy lifestyle, will egg freezing even be valuable for them as well?
So when we get a history of smoking or alcohol, we do give them a period of 3 to 4 months where they need to reduce and stop these habits. We give them some supplements to increase the antioxidant level, folic acid we give them, and then we plan for egg freezing. Because in egg freezing, enna pannuvom, we will stimulate the follicles. We'll make the follicles and eggs to grow, and evlo number of eggs edukka mudiyumo eduthu naanga freeze பண்ணுவோம். So as you say, definitely alcohol and smoking, just like it affects any other organ in the body, it affects the egg quality
and
also.
Stress, does it affect the quality of the egg as well?
Stress it does, but pathologically pathingana not that much. So good sleep you've got and lesser stress, of course it plays a role. But இது வந்து stress நிறைய இருக்கிறது வேற எந்த பிரச்சனையும் இல்லை, ஸ்ட்ரெஸ்னாலேயே வந்து egg quality poor-ஆ இருக்குன்னு அந்த மாதிரி கிடையாது. Age is our factor.
See, there are women who are not able to conceive. May or may not work. After a certain age, they have not planned to freeze their egg, and they go for surrogacy. as an option. I recently saw that Nayantara was asked to showcase her inability to reproduce to prove that it was a viable option for pregnancy. What are surrogacy laws in India, and is it popular among women? Is it a good thing?
See, Rashmi, there is nothing called if it's a good thing or a bad thing, and there is no discussion on whether it is the upcoming one or is it popular or anything. Surrogacy is a legally allowed procedure where the mother will not be able to use her uterus to bear a child, which has to be shown as evidence to the court of law, and only when they give permission we have to go for surrogacy. So we cannot just randomly say that they've had a couple of IVF failures, they have to go for surrogacy. Only when the uterus, there is an issue with the uterus, there is an issue with their body which cannot warrant them carrying a pregnancy. They have some health conditions which they are not dangerous for them to bear a pregnancy, any heart conditions, anything like epilepsy where they cannot bear a pregnancy, then only we plan for surrogacy. And even if we plan for surrogacy, we have to produce a lot of documents to the court of law. They have to give permission, only then we can go ahead with surrogacy. So right now the ART laws, that is artificial reproductive technology laws, is extremely strict in India.
Do you in your hospital support this ecosystem of surrogacy, like like just to make people aware that people who are looking and don't know where to go, can
Yes,
they
yes.
approach you?
So there is no. It's not like do I support surrogacy or not. If the patient's condition warrants surrogacy, we go for surrogacy. We go for surrogacy, and there are certain laws for it. There are certain conditions who the surrogate should be, if they have to be related to the mother or not, what the age of the surrogate should be. All of this comes. So even when you're choosing a surrogate, we have to make sure that they are healthy enough, they are eligible to be a surrogate. So all these will be produced to the court of law, get the permission, only then go ahead with surrogacy. So any IVF center like ours, yes, we will do surrogacy, and we need to have that certification and registration for surrogacy. Only if we have that we can do surrogacy. Not everybody should do it.
Are there also some predispositions like genetic problems which can be avoided through surrogacy and which are allowed by law that a parent can go for surrogacy?
So genetic predispositions, like, see, that is only if they are not able to bear the embryo being implanted.
Okay.
That's
Oh
all.
yeah, genetically you cannot alter the.
Genetically, we cannot really say that if they have this condition, they cannot go. They have to go directly for surrogacy. Not so. So surrogacy is very selective, Rashmi. It's not like, before and all, there used to be commercial surrogacy many years back. Now the laws, especially for surrogacy, is extremely strict in India. So we can't just like do surrogacy. The patient had 2 IVF failures. Okay, go for surrogacy. The court of law will ask us a lot of questions, and they don't just accept every surrogacy offer that comes to them. They go through, they scrutinize everything about the center, if they are registered enough, they are certified for surrogacy, why this patient needs a surrogate, all the documents of both the mother and the father, previous history, everything will be scrutinized, and then only they decide whether to give the permission or not to go ahead for surrogacy for that particular couple.
With, like as a parting note, what would you want for parents to educate their girl child on, with respect to, say, lifestyle, or with respect to being comfortable with their own bodies and self? What would you want to say to them?
Okay, so first thing, I think every parent should inform their children about the good touch and bad touch, age appropriate. At the age of 3 or 4, tell them where people are not supposed to touch them, where they are allowed to touch. And then once they reach a pubertal age group, you can be more vocal and give them a little bit about sex education, can be introduced slowly. Second thing is, nowadays a lot of girls go into early puberty. So educate them about puberty. Tell them what menstruation is. Show them how a pad has to be used. Because suddenly at the age of 9, 9 and a half, when they get their periods, they are gone into shock. They don't know what it is and they feel something is wrong with them. So tell them that it's normal. They don't have to take their sanitary pad hiding into a black cover anymore. They can be vocal about the fact that, yes, I got my period. Yes, I'm going to the bathroom to change my pad. That kind of a concept or that feeling has to come for the girl child. And thirdly, their sexuality, their sexual life is not something that has to be taken for granted. You explore your sexual life, you be comfortable with your sexual life, only then you think about making anybody else happy sexually. So I think this is what I would want parents to be vocal to their girl child about. They should be able to come and talk to you about their body changes. Yeah.
Thank you, doctor. It was awesome having you here, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to be benefited of
I
this.
hope so, yes.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thanks for inviting me, Rashmi. I had a great time. Thank you.